What's going on, everybody? It's Untap Your Go, and today we're playing White Weenie in Standard. So White Weenie in Standard. Obviously, I played this in Historic about a month ago. For those of you who are familiar with that video, I can leave an annotation up here if you want to check it out. That was actually a really fun video. So we do not have access to some of the best cards in White in Standard. Like, that's just a fact. The Standard version of this deck has been very lackluster. It's not competing very well with most of the format, but thanks to Kaldheim, we get two new 1-drops that are both really good. So we have 4 copies of Battlefield Raptor. This is a 1-mana 1/2 with flying and first strike. So, like, the 2 toughness, super relevant right now. Flying, relevant. First strike, relevant. It's a good blocker. It trades. It kills a bunch of X1s all day. Then we have 4 copies of Usher of the Fallen. This card has been a powerhouse for this deck. It's another 2/1 for 1 mana, which this deck desperately needed in Standard. Not to mention, you can boast, and it's a creature factory. So if you're going up against an opponent that's not playing enough spot removal right away, and you're going up against a slow matchup or an empty board, you can just attack with this all day and just generate tokens, not having to invest all of your permanents and spells from your hand, and just go wide that way. So, like, this guy carries games. It does a lot for you by itself. Getting into the rest of the 1-drops, because we are playing 20 of them, we have 4 copies of Giant Killer. This is going to kill Lovestruck Beasts, Goldspan Dragons. It also has the nice benefit of having 2 toughness, relevant, and you can tap creatures to force through chip damage. This card is doing a lot for me too. 4 copies of Selfless Savior, protect your creatures, give them indestructible. There's a lot of board wipes going around. 4 copies of Venerable Knight. This is kind of like the weakest 1-drop, theoretically. Like, you can't get the full value of it. There's no other Knight in the entire deck, so the death trigger is irrelevant, but it's a 2/1 for 1, and that's really all we need it to be. We have a copy of Basri's Solidarity and 2 copies of Phalanx Tactics, and I kind of just went with a split here. I like this one because it's instant, and I like this one because it's permanent. So, like, there's a give and take for both of them. You can kind of mess with these numbers and figure out which ones you like the most. 2 copies of Kabira Takedown. This is our other removal spell. It acts as a land when we need it to, or it can remove a creature or a planeswalker by dealing damage to them equal to the number of creatures we control. And since we're going so wide, this is probably like the best deck for this card. 4 copies of Luminarch Aspirant because this guy is amazing. Putting counters on all of your dudes, making them bigger, make them, out of range for removal. And, like, your opponent's gonna need an Aspirant to deal with this pain in the ass because it's a headache to play against, trust me. Then we're playing 4 copies of Seasoned Hollowblade. This is probably the best 2-drop we have access to, period. You can't pay the 4 life like a Danto Vanguard, but just discarding cards and instant speed is good enough too, as long as we can hold up enough resources. But this guy's perfect because there's a lot of board wipes in the format, so between Selfless Savior and Seasoned Hollowblade, we actually have a lot of resiliency against those matchups. Getting into the 3-drop slot, this is dedicated entirely to pumping our team, so we have 3 copies of Glorious Anthem and 3 copies of Maul of the Skyclaves. Both are in here for very specific reasons. Glorious Anthem works the best when you're going as wide as possible, so if you can have like 4 or 5 or 6 creatures or whatever, this is going to drive home a lot of damage, help push through the game, and close it out. Maul of Skyclaves, however, is going to make 1 creature super big, also have access to flying and first strike, both very relevant abilities, and attaching this to like a Seasoned Hollowblade on turn 3 is pretty good. Like, your opponent can't do much about it outside of exile or a board wipe. And then we're playing 1 copy of Luminous Broodmoth as a form of, like, board wipe protection. Most of our creatures do not have flying outside of what's equipped by Maul of the Skyclaves and the Battlefield Raptor. So it's just nice to kind of have this on the top end to be able to protect our creatures, especially because turn 4 is a pivotal turn for control players. That's where most of their board wipes are, outside of like Doomscar or something if they foretelled it a turn early. But having this, especially if you're on the play, if you can stick this on your turn 4 before your opponent can take their turn 4, their board wipe becomes virtually irrelevant. In the mana base, 16 planes and 4 Castle Ardenville. Very cheap. We're only playing 20 lands. If you include the Kabira Takedown, it's 22. It's a very low to the curve deck, and our most expensive card we're only playing 1 copy of. So it's not too bad. In the sideboard, though, we have 3 copies of Daxus against aggro matchups, get that life gain. 2 copies of Disenchant to be able to deal with our opponent's Great Henges, their Scalding, their Showdown of the Scalds, Garrick's Uprising. There's a bunch of just random artifacts and enchantments you can hit right now. 2 copies of Drannith Magistrate. Your opponent can't cast things from anywhere but their hands, so that shuts off Companions, that shuts off Genesis Ultimatum, that shuts off a whole bunch of just, Tybalt's Trickery. Like, it shuts off a lot of really janky stuff in the format right now. 2 copies of Glass Casket for early aggression, 2 copies of Hushbringer against the sacrifice matchups or like that. This shuts off Urian by itself. It's pretty good. 3 copies of Sorcerer's Spyglass because our deck falls apart to Planeswalkers, especially if we can't kill our opponent by like turn 4 or 5. So being able to like dedicate some of your early turns to shutting off their Planeswalker activations that you know will become problematic, or just other problematic permanents in general that you know will save your opponent's ass, that's why it's in here. And then we're playing 1 more copy of Luminous. And that was the deck tag. So we're going to take this into the arena and see if we can beat our opponents with some low-to-the-ground aggression that White Weenie provides. Leave a like, comment, subscribe on this video if you enjoy it. Link down below for you to try out the deck yourselves. Annotation above if you want to get into this giveaway that I'm hosting. And let's do this. Okay, so we're on the play. And this hand is okay, actually. We could... maybe not. This comes in tapped. This comes in tapped. We're going to mulligan. Way better. Way better. So we're probably gonna bottom the Basri's Solidarity, but Usher into Luminarch Aspirant or Seasoned Hollowblade into Maul of the Skyclaves. That's what you want to see. That's really like, this is an optimal opening hand for us. 100%. Bottom, so we're playing some White Weenie today. We gonna give it to him. We're gonna give it to Oh no, we get to go first. Sick. Usher of the Ballin'. You love seeing the tap lane turn 1 from your opponent with this deck. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, you know what? We're actually going to do the Seasoned Hollowblade. I have no idea what our opponent's playing yet. But I want to get this guy on board, get them all the Skyclaves on him as soon as possible, and let's just win this game. Missing the point. Alright, so we're up against Izzet, and our opponent is taking their time setting up. Perfect for us. We missed our land drop. That's okay. We'll play our Luminarch Aspirant. We'll put it here. Pass it up. Starting their turn 3. And they give up. It gets under him. It just gets... Like, what is he playing? Storm's Wrath or, like what? The Storm's Wrath won't save you. Well, you'll be dead before Storm's Wrath. You'll be dead before Shatter the Sky. You'll be dead before Extinction Event. Like, if you can have this kind of start turn 1, you're doing it. You're living the dream. Tiny Mayor, huh? Tiny Mayor? About to get your ass beat by some tiny townsfolk. Let's get it. Alright, so Usher of the Fallen. 2 Ushers of the Fallen, actually. Double Maul. Primo. Big Primo. A cultured opponent, as always, with the Life from the Loam sleeves. What's our opponent up to? What could they be playing today? Another tap land, turn 1. I'm so sorry for your loss. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna boast. Because, like, I could have gone double 1-drop, but I really don't want to play the Giant Killer yet. I kind of want to save that. Golden Egg. So this is a Urian deck. Doom Foretold, maybe. Found our lands. Doing the thing, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it. So we're in good shape. We found our land drops. We don't even really need the Luminous Broodmoth unless we know that there's going to be a board wipe coming up soon. If we find our 4th land drop, though, I'm probably going to play it. Yep. We're just going to go ahead and play that. That's protection. Unfortunately, the Usher dies, and so will the Luminous Broodmoth. And actually, that was kind of bad. We don't get anything back. Doom Foretold, Can't sacrifice a token. So 4, 7. If we can get them all the Skyclaves, 2 more, that's 9. That's exactly lethal. If we sacrifice this Maul, we get to keep all of our creatures, and then that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So no matter how we try to sacrifice this way, we're not gonna be able to kill our opponent this turn. which honestly I'm okay with. So we'll get them all the Skyclaves on the Luminous Broodmoth that already has flying. Play out another Usher. And now our opponent's pretty much dead because they're down to 1. They can't kill any of our creatures that matter. Like, both of these coming back can win us the game. Is it when it dies? It's when it dies. Alright. If they have Extinction Event, then they're golden. Deck's just too slow, bro. Gotta pick up the pace. Mono white, guys. We'll sacrifice the Maul. Get in, tell our opponent good game, and pass to death. We took over the tiny mayor. This is our town now. White weenie, white weenie, white weenies kicking the ass of the ranks. Going into game 3 against Moominty and wait, Moomint? Is it Moomint? Regardless, going into game 3, and our opening hand is exceptional as always, and we're also on the play. There's that 2-1. We really like that 2 power, guys. Closes out games quick. Our opponent with their unsleeved cards. They're gonna get damaged! Stop! Don't do that to yourself. Okay, planes for our opponent. Don't copy me, bro. Don't copy me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Bless you, pup. Stone Coil for 1. Well, that makes that a little awkward for our opponent, huh? Yep. Alright, protection for multicolored. This could actually be... yeah, Selesnya. So they're probably playing... yep. Exactly what I was afraid of. Giant Killer, eh? If we can get our land, that's going to help. And the Seasoned Hollowblade's definitely going to help. You know what? Let's just grow up the Aspirant. No attacks. And let's play the Seasoned Hollowblade. So our opponent is playing a similar idea to us, except that they're focused on counters. So they can be playing Vorinclex. They could be playing Yorvo. Cultivate helps them a ton. All things considered, we probably already lost. Our Maul of Skyclaves is going to help, but this has reach. Sure. I really fear that our opponent's just going to go over the top of us. Let's put the counter here. Let's start getting in. See how our opponent wants to block. Okay, so they don't. They take the 7. Yeah, let's play the Usher of the Fallen. And let's play the Giant Killer. We're 2 turns away from... Or we're a turn away from being able to play that for the kill spell. Which could be relevant and might bite me in the ass. But I think if we go wide here and draw into our 3rd land, Glorious Anthem just wins us the game. Another Aspirant for our opponent. That's a card I don't want to see. That is a card I do not want to see. Do you attack with it, though? I mean, if they attack with it, they're mighty dead. No attacks. Okay. You love to see it. You love to see it. So, I mean, if we play the Glorious Anthem, they have 3 blockers. They're not going to be dead. They have to block all of our biggest threats. I feel like Maul of the Skyclaves is probably enough to just win the game. They'll have to block with their Stonecoil Serpent next turn, in which case they won't get any life gain back. We can also just Giant Killer them. Yeah, I think we Maul the Skyclaves on the Seasoned Hollowblade. Right. We'll get that damage, and we'll put the counter here. puts them down to 3 unless they block, in which case they don't gain anything. Okay, down to 3, opponent. And our Seasoned Hollowblade can stay alive. This is at a virtual 8. Vivian, okay. It's pretty good. Makes a blocker for them. Mm-hmm. Reach? Yeah, makes sense.
I'd like you to meet my friend, Stompy.
Yep. Puts both counters on the token. Okay, no, they split it up a little bit. If they want to attack, though, yeah, they can't. They just can't attack. My turn. So we just tap down their Stonecoil Serpent. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just game. So they can block this. They block this, they block this, they take 2. Yeah. So they're not dead. Depends on how they block. But their 4/4 is going to be gone, and their Luminarch Aspirants are going to be gone. Otherwise, they're dead. I like that our opponent had the same idea, though. Luminarch Aspirant, man. It's not seen enough play. It's one of the best 2-drops, I think, in Standard. Very underrated. Double block? You're dead! You're dead! Okay. Okay. No, that's fine. I'm okay with this. Yeah. So, nothing changed. We kept 1 extra creature because... Or no. We lost a creature. They're still down to 1 life. They get another creature with reach, which is cool, but we can just tap down their Stonecoil Serpent. They could gain the 7 back here, but then they're just dead to the backswing. Ooh, Basri's Lieutenant. Ah, another Stonecoil Serpent. Gross. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Play a Venerable Knight. Let's attack for 7. They have to block. Sure. I mean, dude, if you double block, okay. I was gonna say, we just killed both of them. And then we can hold up the Giant Killer so they can't gain 8 life back, and then they should be dead after that. Our opponent's putting up the good fight. This deck went a lot longer than, or this game went a lot longer than I expected it to. Alright, another creature. And I should be focusing down the Vivian, all things considered. Okay. Opponent played their land. And now, yeah, now they're super dead, because we can just tap down their creature on our turn. That's fine. We'll just tap down that guy. Ooh, and it could be a takedown. We can just straight up kill it. Nah. Yep. Let's keep pushing that damage. I actually think I messed up by not holding up the Giant Killer again. Oh, you're silly. You're a silly goose. First strike, opponent. First strike. I killed both of your dude. Yep. Oops is right. The more you know. And I could play Kabira Takedown. I got 5 creatures. 7, 8, 9. Okay. We hold up the Kabira Takedown still, I think. Right? The Glorious Anthem I probably should have played a lot sooner. Let's hope that they whiff on having a creature off the top or in their draw. Which I imagine they did, since they might have minused there instead.
I love making new friends.
Yep, moves the Shadow Spear back over to the 8/8. Makes the most sense. Well, we take it. Go up to 11. And then we can move it over. Okay. Giant Killer does some work too. Can we just win this turn? It's a real thing. So it's 3, 4, 5, 12, 15, 16 damage, plus 5 is 21. I gain 4 back, so that'd be a virtual 17. Then I can block this, so that's 10. Yeah, so it's not going to be lethal. Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's play this. Let's play the second Giant Killer. Okay. And we'll play this out as a land this time. Yeah, let's go ahead. This guy has trample as well. I have to be mindful of that. No attacks. We have to play it careful now because we're at 4 life. Our opponent can slam a Vorinclex or something and just win out of nowhere. Wow. Wow. Well, ain't that a bitch? Put up the good fight. I definitely know I made several misplays in a lot of those pivotal turns. I'm pretty sure we should have won this game, all things considered. If I had stuck the Glorious Anthem on turn 3 and then went about this, maybe I could have pushed through the damage. But them having the lifelink, like Shadow Spear, of course, save their ass. Ugin, going into game 4 against Osner, and we're on the draw, I think, for the first time this entire video. Yep, we're gonna keep. Alright, opponent finally takes their turn. Venerable Knight for us. I guess they're on the green something. What are they gonna be playing? Mutate, maybe? I see an Ikoria symbol. Mono green. This is mono green. Alright. So they go 3 to 4. Then they could cultivate, double spell. They're definitely trying to ramp into like a Vorinclex or something. So do we play the Aspirant? Because they might trade, I doubt it. We can also play the Seasoned Hollowblade and start committing more to the board. Hopefully draw into our 3rd land. I feel like the Aspirant's probably the better pick. Just because there's no guarantee we're actually going to see our land drop. So we're just going to go ahead and push in this damage. You won't. You won't. Oh, you did! Sick! I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Even though we lost our 3-2, they lost arguably one of the best ramp tools in Standard. Nazgene Horn Beats. That's pretty good. Alright, well, our opponent's going to start placing counters. So will we. Let's grow up the team. Let's keep pushing in the damage. Nazgene Horn Beetle is a threat. Yep. And that's why he wasn't willing to trade with it. This guy is a pain in the butt. What's worse is our opponent has a fight spell. Cheesy. Okay. Ooh. That's gonna help close out this game. Alright, man, let's put you on a clock. Put you on a clock. Do you have another ram through? It doesn't matter. Promomite, you need a ton of resources for that. Garrick's Harbinger is actually pretty good. Kind of scary. So I can actually, yeah, I'm gonna attack with the Luminarch Aspirant. Put them down to 7. And then we're gonna go ahead and just drop our hand. Turn. Our opponent can't block the Aspirant unless they have some form of reach, which they don't. We got there, guys. The Phalanx Tactics actually probably win us the game too. Pass to attacks. You know what, opponent? I'll be nice, man. Put us down to 3, but we're putting him down to dead. Going into our 5th and final game already against Cruise Missile 28. And our opening hand, this is probably the worst hand we've actually seen. It's not bad. We have power, we have interaction, we have protection, we have a way to close out the game. But really kind of want to rely on the Luminarch Aspirant or the Maul of Skyclaves. That's really where a lot of our power comes from. How relevant is this hand, really? Ah, screw it. Let's get it. Doge. Are you invested in Dogecoin? You guys know that was a thing? Dogecoin? It's really taking off right now. Like, the stock market is in crazy flux from Reddit. Congratulations to you guys, by the way, for rightfully taking back money from Wall Street. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. When that happened, so Reddit basically, the whole GameStop thing, right? I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. But the fact of the matter is, Reddit completely owned the Wall Street market so badly that the people that lost money came on air the next day and were like, "Oh, we lost our money." And it's like, oh, did somebody have to participate in capitalism and got beat by their own game? Oh, no. Either way. Sorry about that little tangent, but all things serious, it needed to happen. Like, congratulations, Reddit. You took the first step to actually, like, showing the government that we're not just a bunch of sheeple that are going to let them rule us for no reason. I know some of you were like, I just wanted to watch Magic, man. I don't give a shit about politics. And honestly, I don't either. I think politics is, I think it's a scam. It's just a pyramid scheme in disguise. Reveal a card. You get a Selfless Savior. So I can actually just Kambira takedown this if I want to. I can also use the Phalanx Tactics, try to just get him. Yeah. Let's Kambira take down that guy. We can actually hold up the Giant Killer. We're probably going to need it. I imagine our opponent is playing some big threats. They're in Mardu colors. Could have a board wipe. And there's a Croxa. So odds are they're playing, they're probably playing like Extinction Event. If I had to guess if they were going to play any board wipes. That gives us 3 extra damage. Yeah, we really got to try to hold up this Giant Killer. Cruise Missile. Of course, Fatal Passage complements Croxa pretty dang good. Pretty good. Opponent grabs a Mountain. Dream Devourer. Okay. First time I have ever seen this card cast on Arena so far. And I gotta say, card's the bee's knees. So we can't kill it. So I say, or we couldn't kill it with the Beanstalk, I believe. Giant Killer, I mean. So we're just gonna Kambira take down that guy. Because, I mean, on paper, I think this card is insane. Like, arguably one of the best foretell cards ever. It makes the archetype actually good. I think a lot of the foretell cards are a miss for the most part, but this guy definitely, like, you can just build around him and your deck turns into foretell. With upside, like, it discounts the cost of the spell too. This guy's like, I mean, do you guys think this guy's good enough to see like Eternal play? Like all seriousness, do you think this could see play in Modern, or like, I don't know if it's strong enough for Vintage, but maybe Legacy? Not sure. My turn, we found a land. That's a good land, but it's not great. Yep. But we're just gonna go ahead and tap this guy. Sure. That is fine. They cycle. They get their Croxa back soon. Which really sucks. Go ahead and play the land and pass. We're getting them very close to dead, but Croxa coming back is going to swing the game very quickly. And now I don't have Bean Boy. Oh, what? What? Yo, bro, get it, man. Mythos of Snapdax? That card is good. Nobody plays this, but it's super good. I'm not sure if any of you guys who follow me actually follow MTG Blackhammer, but he made a deck when Kaldheim first dropped that was Mythos of Snapdax with like Turgrid, so you force your opponent to sacrifice all their permanents and you get everything back. Guys, the guy makes some really good content, guys. I highly recommend checking him out. It's definitely a blast to watch him play. Giving it back to our opponent. They have their Croxus. They have Croxa mana. They can play it. And here he comes. Big bad Cruxy. So we're down to 17. We put our opponent to 5. They hit us back for 9. That puts us down to 8. Wow, they actually have us on a race. If we can't deal with this Croxa, we just lose. Basri's Solidarity helps. Helps a ton, actually. Our opponent has 1 turn. Can they kill us? Mm-hmm. We're taking a bunch here. Embercleave could have been crazy. Never see anybody combine Croxa with Embercleave. So it's probably kind of awkward. Our opponent's sitting on their end step, so I honestly feel like we have them beat. Wow, down to like exact lethal too. If they can gain life here, I'll be really upset. But yeah, like if we can kill our opponent, or if we can't, I mean, he attacks us for 6, we take the 3, that's 9, and then that kills us. So we're basically just facing down each other with both having lethal on board, except I get to execute first. My opponent is dead on board. He's gonna rope me, he's such a bore. I just want to know, how do you feel? Are you salty like a chestnut in a fire roasting? I'm sorry, but that's just how this game happened to happen. Sometimes you play like 30 wild cards, but I got my white weenie and it's faster than yours. I hope you know you're gonna lose. Please just die. Yes! Sick! Sick! Welcome back to the wrap-up, everybody. If you made it this far, that means you watched my entire video, and thank you so much. I appreciate all the support I've been getting lately. In just the last 28 days, we've gotten almost 80 subs. 78 to be exact, and that's mind-blowing if you consider the fact that that's almost half of my subscriber base. Not to mention, I started the channel September 3rd of last year. So we just passed our 6-month mark 7 days ago, and I've gotten almost half of my total subscriber count in just the last month. I really appreciate all this love and attention and support flooding in from you guys lately, and I'm seeing a lot of new faces in the comment section. I'm seeing a lot of people actively engaged and participating and talking to me, and like, guys, I really love the support, and it means a ton to me, so thank you guys so much. With that being said, we went 4-1 for a really spectacular finish, honestly, and we lost that one game because our opponent got lucky and found their Ugin after like 15 turns of us like tooth and nail trying to just kill them, and they were clawing from the depths of hell and got out. So the gameplay was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, check out the deck link below. This deck is a lot of fun, and it's actually a lot better than you think. If you can keep a really good aggressive start, it gets under a lot of decks, and not a lot of matchups really effectively account for it, except maybe like the Naya Adventures deck, a dedicated Dimir control deck or something like that. Outside of those matchups, everything else is playing tap lands on turn 1. They're playing their engines, and that's the big thing, their engines. Everybody's all about their engines and setting up their resources to just take over the game. But if you can kill your opponent by turn 4, it really doesn't matter what they play. Like turn 4 or 5, it doesn't matter what they play. You're killing them so quickly, you're putting so much pressure on them. They have to spend a lot of their early turns skipping establishing their engines to try to remove your creatures, but everything is so low to the ground, we can just go wide and wide and wide. Kill spells are virtually irrelevant. Board wipes are the only thing that protects them, and our Luminous Broodmoth actually shores a lot of that up. A lot of people are playing Extinction Event, I know, but for the people that are playing Shatter the Sky, Cast Out, or Cast Down, whatever it is, I forget which, with the giant, you know, or Doomscar or something, Storm's Wrath. There's a lot of board wipes that don't exile right now. So if you're not playing black, you're pretty much limited to those colors. Luminous Broodmoth is going to save your ass a ton, and it's the only 4-cost card in the entire deck, so it's not too stressful on the mana base. Even in the sideboard, we're only playing 1 extra copy, and everything else is very low to the ground. But this deck was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check the link down below, try it out yourselves. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and the bell, all that good stuff. It means a lot. It helps the channel out a lot. And with that being said, I'm Rob, aka Untap Your Go. It's been real, everyone, and I will see you all in the next video.